The thunderclap hit like a freight train derailing in the dead of night, shaking the flimsy nylon walls of our tent so hard I thought the whole goddamn forest was coming down on us. Aaron bolted upright beside me, his breath ragged, eyes wild in the flashlight's beam, and before I could even curse the storm, he grabbed my arm, hard, like he was anchoring himself to the only solid thing left in the world. "Connor," he whispered, voice cracking like the sky outside. "I can't pretend anymore. I think I'm in love with you, and it fucking terrifies me." We'd driven out to Yellowstone that crisp September morning like we had 100 times before. Two broke-ass 20-somethings from the flat sprawl of suburban Ohio chasing the kind of adventure that made us feel alive. Aaron, with his easy grin and that effortless jock charisma that turned heads at every dive bar from Cleveland to Casper, was the straight-arrow golden boy who dragged me along on this guy's trip to celebrate his impending engagement to Sarah, the girl he'd been dating since freshman year at Ohio State. Me, Connor Hayes, the quiet graphic designer with a sketchbook full of half-finished portraits and a heart buried under layers of unspoken longing. I was just the sidekick, the reliable buddy who'd always been there to pick up the pieces after Aaron's latest heartbreak or bar fight. The plan was simple: 3 days of hiking the Lamar Valley trails, fishing the Yellowstone River until our fingers pruned, and cracking open cheap beers under the stars to toast to Aaron's future. "Man, you're gonna be hitched soon," I joked as we loaded up his beat-up Ford F-150 in the driveway of his parents' split level in Akron, the kind of house with a basketball hoop bolted crookedly above the garage. "Next thing you know, you'll be trading in trout flies for diaper duty." He laughed that deep, rumbling laugh of his, clapping me on the back a little too hard, like he was warding off the inevitability of it all. "Don't remind me, Con. Sarah's already got the registry set up, crib, blender, the works. Feels like I'm signing up for the electric chair." We blasted Springsteen the whole 16-hour haul west. Windows down, wind whipping through the cab as the Midwest cornfields gave way to the rolling plains of South Dakota and finally the jagged teeth of the Rockies. By the time we pulled into the fishing bridge campground, the sun was dipping low, painting the Absaroka Range in bloody oranges and purples. We pitched the tent quick, a 2-man REI rig we'd shared on worse nights, like that flooded site in the Adirondacks where we'd huddled together for warmth, my pulse hammering not just from the cold. Aaron handled the stakes with that farm boy efficiency he'd picked up from summers baling hay back home, while I unrolled the sleeping bags, trying not to notice how his faded Buckeyes tee clung to the sweat-damp V of his back. That first night, we grilled elk burgers over a crackling fire pit, the smoky char mixing with the pine-scent air, and washed them down with IPAs smuggled in a cooler. Aaron talked nonstop about Sarah, how she'd surprised him with tickets to a Cavs game last month, how her laugh lit up a room like nobody's business. I nodded along, forcing smiles, sketching idle doodles in the dirt with a stick, a wolf's silhouette against the moon, or maybe just the curve of his jawline when he wasn't looking. "You're a lucky bastard," I said, clinking my bottle against his. "Don't fuck it up." He shot me a look then, something flickering in those hazel eyes. Uncertainty? Regret? But he chased it with another swig and launched into a story about the time we streaked the dean's office during pledge week. By midnight, the fire had died to embers, and we crawled into the tent, the zipper rasping like a guilty secret. I lay there in the dark, listening to the distant howl of coyotes and the rustle of Aaron shifting on his side, our shoulders inches apart. The air smelled of damp earth and his cologne, something woodsy, like cedar and regret. I'd loved him since we were 17, since that sticky summer night at the county fair when he punched out a redneck for calling me a fag. his knuckles bloody and his voice steady. "Nobody talks to my friend like that. It wasn't the punch that hooked me. It was the way he looked at me after, like I was worth the fight." But Aaron, straight as the Ohio River, or so he'd always sworn, girls, glory, and the grind of getting by. The second day dawned clear and brutal, the kind of blue sky blaze that turned the meadows into shimmering mirages. We hiked the Uncle Tom's Trail down to the Yellowstone River, boots crunching over basalt scree, the roar of the lower falls drowning out everything but our labored breaths. Aaron led the way, his pack slung low, blonde hair matted under a frayed ball cap. "Race you to the bottom," he yelled over his shoulder, that boyish challenge lighting up his face. I chased him down the steel stairs, legs burning, heart pounding not just from the descent. At the misty overlook, we collapsed against the railing, spray from the cataract soaking our shirts, rainbow arcs dancing in the vapor. "Goddamn, this is living," Aaron gasped, wiping his face with the hem of his tee, exposing a flash of tanned abs that made my throat go dry. He turned to me, grin fading into something softer. "Thanks for coming, Con. I don't say it enough, but you're the only one who gets me. Sarah's great, but she doesn't know the side, the wild shit, the noble shit talks." His hand lingered on my shoulder, thumb brushing my collarbone, and for a split second, the world narrowed to that touch, electric as the storm clouds gathering on the horizon. I mumbled something lame about brotherhood, pulled away to snap photos on my phone, him mid-laugh, arms thrown wide, the river churning like my insides. We fished till dusk, wading into the frothy shallows with fly rods whipping arcs against the current. Aaron hooked a cutthroat trout on his third cast, whooping as he reeled it in, scales glinting silver in the dying light. "Look at this beauty," he crowed, holding it aloft, water streaming from its gills. I fumbled my line, snagged on a submerged log, and he waded over to help, his body close in the current, thigh brushing thigh, his laugh warm against my ear. "Steady there, killer. Can't have you drowning on me." That night, around the fire, we roasted the fish with lemon and herbs scavenged from a trail mix, the flames popping like suppressed confessions. Aaron cracked open the whiskey, a fifth of Jack we'd vowed to nurse, and passed it my way. "To us," he toasted, as locking on mine a beat too long. The unbreakable duo, the liquor burned going down, loosening tongues and inhibitions. We swapped stories till the stars wheeled overhead. His first kiss behind the bleachers with Jenny Malone, all fumbling teeth and teenage fire. My awkward coming out to Mom over lukewarm meatloaf, her hug tighter than words. "Wish I had your guts," he said quietly, poking the fire with a stick, sparks swirling up like lost prayers. "Coming out like that. Me? I'm still in the closet about half my life, afraid if I blink, it'll all come crashing down." I wanted to ask what he meant, to press, but the whiskey hummed in my veins, and instead I just nodded, the space between us thickening with unsaid things. As the fire guttered out, we stumbled to the tent, the first fat raindrops spattering the leaves. Inside, zipping up against the downpour, Aaron stripped to his boxers without a second thought, broad chest rising and falling, a faint scar from a dirt bike wipeout snaking across his ribs. I averted my eyes, heart slamming, but he flopped down beside me, our sleeping bags overlapping in the cramped space. "Storm's gonna be a bitch," he muttered, the thunder rumbling closer now, vibrating through the ground. Lightning forked the sky, illuminating his profile. Strong jaw clenched, brows furrowed. I lay there, rigid, the rain tattooing the tent like impatient fingers, willing sleep to come. Then it hit, the thunderclap that ripped us both awake, the wind howling like a banshee, stakes groaning under the assault. Aaron's hand clamped my arm, his body curling instinctively toward mine for shelter, heat radiating through the thin fabric. In that chaos, with the world unraveling outside, he whispered those words, raw and irreversible. Connor, I can't pretend anymore. I think I'm in love with you, and it fucking terrifies me. My brain short-circuited, the storm outside paling against the one in my chest. Love, from Aaron, the straight friend who'd high-fived me through every bromance milestone, who'd never once looked at me like this. His grip tightened, eyes searching mine in the erratic flash of lightning, vulnerability stripped bare. Say something, he pleaded, voice barely audible over the gale. Please, Con. Tell me I'm not losing my mind. I swallowed hard, the air thick with ozone and unspoken years. Aaron. What about Sarah? The wedding? But even as the words left my lips, my hand was moving, cupping his face, thumb tracing the stubble I'd memorized in stolen glances. He leaned into it, eyes fluttering shut, and then, God help us. His lips crashed into mine, desperate, tasting of whiskey and rain and revelation. The kiss was a storm of its own, clumsy at first, teeth clacking, then deepening into something fierce and inevitable, his hands fisting my shirt, pulling me closer till there was no space left, no pretense. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together, the tent shuddering around us. Holy shit, he breathed, a laugh bubbling up, half hysterical. What the hell are we doing? I didn't have an answer, just the pounding of my heart, the thrill of his fingers laced through mine, and the dawning terror that this night had just rewritten everything. Dawn crept in gray and unforgiving, the storm's fury reduced to a sullen drizzle pattering the tent fly like hesitant applause. Aaron stirred first, his arm slung heavy across my waist, breath warm against my neck, a casual intimacy that felt anything but after last night's detonation. I froze, every nerve alight, replaying the kiss in jagged fragments, the salt of his skin, the way he'd moaned my name like a prayer. Panic clawed up my throat. This wasn't some fever dream. It was real, and it could shatter us both. He woke with a start, hazel eyes bleary, then widening as memory flooded back. Con. His voice was gravel, hand jerking away like I'd burned him. He sat up, raking fingers through his tousled blonde hair, glancing at the zipped flap as if escape might still be possible. Last night, that was... Fuck, I don't even know. The whiskey, the thunder. Did we? We kissed, I said flatly, propping on an elbow, my own shirt twisted and damp from where we tangled. Twice. And you said you loved me. The words hung there, blunt as a gut punch. His face crumpled, color draining to leave him pale against the olive sleeping bag. Shit. Sarah. Oh God. What have I done? He buried his head in his hands, shoulders shaking, not sobs, but something deeper, like the foundations of his life cracking underfoot. I reached for him, instinct overriding caution, but he flinched. Don't. Just give me a minute. The rejection stung, sharp as barbed wire, but I nodded, rolling away to give him space. Outside, The forest dripped and sighed. A pair of ravens cawing mockery from the pines. We'd crossed a line, sure, but the real chasm yawned ahead. His engagement ring glinting in my mind's eye, the vows he'd rehearsed a dozen times over late-night calls. Aaron Caldwell, all-American dream wrapped in flannel and football scars, wasn't built for this. Gay? Bi? Hell? Even the labels felt like American Gothic traps, too neat for the mess we'd made. We broke camp in silence. Movements mechanical. Aaron stuffing gear into packs with unnecessary force. Me folding the tent with hands that trembled. The drive back toward the trailhead was torture. Springsteen crooning Thunder Road on low. The cab thick with unspoken fallout. Talk to me, I finally begged. Eyes on the winding blacktop slick with runoff. Yell. Curse. Whatever. Just don't shut down. He gripped the wheel white-knuckled. Jaw set like granite. What do you want me to say? That I've been lying to myself for years? That every time I look at you, it's like staring into a mirror I don't recognize? Sarah's my future. Con. Stable. Normal. This. He gestured wildly between us. This is a goddamn grenade. His honesty gutted me. But it was the truth I'd always known. I was the grenade. The complication in his straight-line life. We pulled over at a roadside overlook. The Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone yawning below in sulfurous steam. Bison dots on the distant green. He killed the engine. Turned to me with eyes red-rimmed. I meant it, though. Last night. You're everything. My best friend. My anchor. But love, like that, it scares the shit out of me because it changes everything. His hand found mine across the console. Tentative. Calluses rough from rod grips and real work. I squeezed back. Pulse thundering. Then what do we do? Pretend it didn't happen? Go back to high fives and bro code? He laughed. Bitter and broken. Hell if I know. But I can't lose you. Not over this. We sat there till the mist burned off. Hands linked like a fragile treaty. The canyon's roar filling the voids. When we finally hiked out, lighter packs. Heavier hearts. The trail climbed steep through lodgepole stands. Wildflowers nodding in the breeze. Aaron walked point. But he'd glance back every few yards. A ghost of a smile when our eyes met. By midday, at a sun-dappled clearing, he dropped his pack and pulled me into a hug. Fierce, platonic on the surface, but laced with the undercurrent of dawn's memory. Truce, he murmured into my hair. For now, the afternoon blurred into a haze of exertion. Summiting the crest for views that stretched to the Tetons, lungs burning, sweat stinging old doubts. We crested at a wind-scoured ridge, the world falling away in waves of sagebrush and sky. Aaron hooped, stripping off his shirt to the waistband, broad back glistening as he spun in place. Look at this, Con. We're kings up here, I laughed. The sound foreign after the morning's wait. Snapping pics as he posed absurd, flexing like a bodybuilder, then dropping to one knee in mock proposal to a yucca plant. Marry me, you prickly bitch, he declared, and we dissolved into hysterics, the kind that knit wounds without words. But levity cracked under the day's end. We made camp early by Soda Butte, the creek murmuring over cobbles, fireflies winking in the twilight. Over canned chili and trail mix, Aaron opened up not the floodgates, but a trickle. Remember sophomore year? That party at Kappa Sig? You were wasted, crying in the bathroom about your ex dumping you for being too artsy. I sat there all night, holding your hair back, thinking, damn, This guy's got more heart than anyone I know. His voice softened, fork forgotten. And me, chasing tail like it was a sport. But you'd look at me with those eyes, all steady and seeing, and I'd feel exposed. Like you knew the parts one hid. I set my bowl down, throat tight. I did. Still do. You're not just the jock, Aaron. You're the guy who drove 3 hours to my grandma's funeral, sat through the whole rosary even though you're Lutheran as hell. The one who remembers my birthday with that stupid mixtape every year. He met my gaze, firelight dancing in his irises. So why does it feel like betrayal? To her? To us? The question lingered as stars pricked the velvet dark, the creek's lullaby underscoring our silence. Night fell heavy, the tent a cocoon once more. We crawled in wordless, but this time, when Aaron shifted close, it wasn't accident. His head pillowed on my shoulder, arm draped loose. Just hold me, he whispered, vulnerability a blade's edge. Till I figure this out. I did, fingers tracing lazy circles on his back, the rhythm of his breath syncing with mine. Sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with river currents and his lips on mine. But for those hours, we were suspended, lovers in limbo, friends forged in fire. The third morning broke with false promise, sun gilding the buttes like fool's gold. We broke fast on granola and black coffee, the brew bitter as the unspoken. Today's the loop trail, Aaron announced, forcing cheer. Easy 5-miler. Then we head back to civilization. His smile didn't reach his eyes, and mine mirrored the strain. The path wound through thermal basins, steam vents hissing like accusatory ghosts, boardwalks creaking underfoot. We walked single file, the silence companionable at first, then oppressive. Halfway, at a scalding pool rimmed in orange sinter, Aaron stopped dead. Con. Wait. His voice was steel wrapped in plea. He turned, face ashen. I called Sarah last night while you were sketching by the fire. Told her. Some of it. Not all. Just that I'm confused. That this trip's got me rethinking shit. My stomach plummeted. And, he exhaled sharp. She's hurt. Furious. Says I'm throwing us away for a phase. But she doesn't get it, it's not a phase. It's you. The admission hung, seismic, as a geyser erupted nearby, plume arcing skyward in defiant spray. We pressed on, the trail blurring into confession's wake. By the trail's end, sweat-soaked and spent, we collapsed at the truck, the lot empty save for a grizzled ranger's rig. Aaron leaned against the hood, head bowed. I don't know how to do this, he admitted. Without blowing up my life, I stepped close, hand on his arm. Then we take it slow. One step. No blowing up anything. He nodded, pulling me into an embrace that blurred lines again. Chest to chest, his chin on my shoulder, the world fading to the thud of our hearts. But as we loaded up, engine rumbling to life, my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Tell Aaron his best friend is a liar. I saw the pics. Call off the wedding? Real classy. Attached. A grainy shot from the ridge, Aaron shirtless and spinning, my arm slung casual around his waist. Harmless, except in the wrong eyes. Betrayal's first whisper, courtesy of some trail busybody with a grudge. Aaron's face drained as I showed him. Who the fuck? The drive east began under gathering clouds, the stunned silence between us thicker than before. The road ahead a minefield we couldn't outrun. The miles unspooled like frayed nerves. I-90 eastbound, a monotonous ribbon cutting through Wyoming's high plains, the truck's tires humming a dirge to our unraveling weekend. Aaron drove with jaw locked, knuckles bone-white on the wheel, stealing glances at my phone clutched like a live wire in my lap. That photo, snapped by some faceless hiker with a telephoto lens and a vendetta, had metastasized into a viral whisper. The unknown sender's text a venomous seed. "Delete it," Aaron growled finally, voice low as the gathering dusk. "It's nothing. Just delete the damn thing." But I couldn't. Not when my notifications were lighting up like a slot machine gone haywire. Forwards from mutuals back home. Sarah's inner circle piling on with escalating fury. Aaron's bro trip? More like a fag fest. "Congrats on the downgrade, Connor." The words hit like shrapnel, each one a reminder of the world's sharp edges, honed against anyone who dared deviate from the script. I muted the thread, but the damage festered, a low boil in the cab's stale air. "It's out there now," I said quietly, Wyoming's wind farms spinning mocking sentinels on the horizon. "People talk. Sarah's talking. What if it gets back to your folks? Your job?" He slammed the heel of his hand on the dash, the crack echoing like gunfire. "Fuck him. Fuck all of it if it means." He cut off, swerving onto the shoulder with a spray of gravel, the truck shuddering to halt amid sagebrush and thunderheads boiling black. "Means what, Aaron?" I demanded, turning to face him, the seatbelt cutting into my chest. "Means you finally admit you're not straight? That you've been eye-fucking me since we were kids? Even while planning your picket fence life?" His eyes flashed, hurt and heat. Yeah, that's exactly it. I've been a coward, Con. Burying it under touchdowns and tailgates because that's what they expect. The good son, the reliable guy. But you've always seen through the bullshit. The confession cracked something in me, years of pining spilling out in a rush. And I've waited. I shot back, voice breaking. Waited for you to notice, to choose. But now, with her in the crossfire, it feels like I'm the villain in your rom-com. He unbuckled, leaning across the console, close enough I could smell the creek water still on his skin. "You're not. God, you're not." His hand cupped my neck, thumb stroking the pulse point, and then he kissed me. Not the frantic storm of the tent, but deliberate, ticking, like he was memorizing the shape of regret. I melted into it, fingers threading his hair, the world narrowing to the salt of tears on his lips. Mine or his, couldn't tell. We broke apart breathless, foreheads touching, the storm outside mirroring the one we'd ignited. "We can't keep doing this in stolen moments," he murmured. "I need to end it with Sarah. Clean." The resolve in his voice was a lifeline, but laced with dread. "Tonight. When we get signal." I nodded, heart a war drum, as he eased back onto the interstate, the radio crackling with static warnings of flash floods ahead. By nightfall, we'd crossed into Montana, holing up at a no-frills motel in Billings. Neon vacancy sign flickering over cracked asphalt, the kind of place where truckers nursed coffees and secrets. Our room smelled of bleach and old smoke, twin beds shoved against faded wallpaper, a single lamp casting long shadows. Aaron paced while his phone charged, dialing Sarah on speaker as bars climbed. I sat on the edge of my mattress, sketching absently a rough outline of his profile, all sharp angles and haunted eyes, to steady my hands. She picked up on the second ring, voice a whip crack. Aaron Caldwell, you better have a damn good explanation for that picture. Connor, really? After everything? He winced, sinking onto the bed opposite, elbows on knees. Sarah, listen, it's not what you think. Or, shit, maybe it is. The words tumbled then, halting at first, then gaining steam. The confusion, the kiss, the realization that his heart had been playing catch-up to his head for years. She interrupted with sobs, then screams, "You're breaking me." For him? That emo loser who's been mooning over you since diapers. And I flinched, the slur landing like a backhand even though I'd heard worse. Aaron's face hardened, love curdling to resolve. It's over, Sarah. I'm sorry. You deserve someone all in, not this half-assed version of me. She hurled accusations, liar, cheater, freak, and then, the betrayal's twist. You think this stays quiet? My dad's on city council. Your mom's bridge club will eat this alive. Enjoy your little gay honeymoon. Boys. The line went dead, a dial tone buzzing like tinnitus. Aaron stared at the phone, shattered, then hurled it against the wall, screen spiderwebbing. Fuck! He buried his face in his hands, shoulders heaving. I crossed the room in 2 strides, pulling him close, his body rigid then yielding, sobs muffled against my chest. We stayed like that till exhaustion claimed him, curled on my bed like a wounded animal, my arms a makeshift fortress. Sleep evaded me, mind racing through fallout, his job at the auto plant, where redneck ribbing could turn ugly, my freelance gigs, already precarious in a town that whispered about that queer artist. Dawn found us tangled, his head on my thigh, my fingers in his hair, a tableau of fragile peace amid the wreckage. The drive home stretched into a gauntlet, Ohio-bound through corn-silk prairies and rust-belt ghosts. We stopped at diners for greasy hash and bottomless Joe, conversations ebbing between raw honesty and radio silence. In a booth outside Sioux Falls, over pie that tasted like cardboard, Aaron traced patterns on the formica. What if I can't do this? For you. His vulnerability was a knife's edge, but I met it head-on. Then we figure it together. No timelines, no perfection. Just us. Messy as hell. He smiled then, faint but real, lacing our fingers under the table, a public dare, small but seismic. Back in Akron 3 days later, reality crashed like a hangover. Aaron's truck idled in my driveway, the ranch style I'd inherited from Dad, a squat sentinel under sodium lamps. Your folks want me for dinner tomorrow, he said, engine idling rough. To talk about Sarah. Dread pooled in my gut, his parents, salt-of-the-earth Catholics with a Virgin Mary statue in the yard, wouldn't take kindly to their boy's pivot. Want backup? I offered, half joking. He leaned over, kissing me quick and fierce, tasting of gas station mints. Always, he drove off into the night, taillights winking like Morse code. My own homecoming was a solitary spiral. Inbox flooded with passive-aggressive emails from shared friends, Sarah's bridesmaids ghosting group chats. I ignored them, holing up with takeout lo mein and a bottle of bourbon, sketching till my fingers cramped. Aaron's laugh lines, the scar on his rib, visions of a life unscripted. Midnight brought a knock. Urgent. Aaron, duffel in hand, eyes wild. They know. Mom found the texts. Sarah's mom called, spilled everything. He shouldered in, dropping the bag, pulling me into a kiss that tasted of desperation. They said. Prayers. Conversion shit. Dad just stared like I'd grown horns. We made love then, for the first time, not the tense frantic fumble, but deliberate, exploratory. Clothes shed in the hallway, bodies mapping new territories on my thrift store couch. His touch was reverent, hands trembling as they learned me, neck, hips, the dip of my spine, whispers of mine and sorry mingling with gasps. It was messy, profound, acclaiming amid the chaos. Afterward, spent and slick, he traced my tattoos, a compass rose on my forearm, ink from a Vegas whim. Where to now, Captain? He murmured, voice thick with afterglow. I kissed his temple, heart full to bursting. Anywhere but here. But first, survive the week. We dozed tangled, the bourbon forgotten, dreams laced with bison herds and canyon echoes. The week devolved into siege. Aaron's phone became a battlefield. Voicemails from his sister. How could you do this to Mom? Texts from old teammates. Heard you're switching teams. Bro, need tips. Work was hell. He called out twice, citing family emergency, holing up at my place instead. We cooked spaghetti in my galley kitchen, sauce splattering like blood, laughing over burnt garlic bread till the absurdity hit. This is us now, I said, twirling noodles on his fork. Domestic disasters, he grinned, sauce on his chin. Best kind, but betrayal lurked, insidious. Friday night, as we walked the Cuyahoga River Trail, autumn leaves crunching underfoot, the steel mills glow a distant forge, Aaron's phone lit up. Sarah, calling from a blocked number. He answered warily, me at his side. What? Silence. Then her voice, eerily calm. Check your email. Sent you both a gift. We huddled over the screen in a pool of streetlight. Attachments. Dozens screenshots of our texts from the trip. How? Stolen phone? Hacked. Blurry trail cam pics from that nosy hiker. Even a voice memo I'd left him years ago. Drunk and confessional after a bar crawl. The final file. A video. Time-stamped post-breakup. Sarah, tear-streaked in her sorority house, ranting to a faceless friend. He thinks he can just bail for Connor? That little bitch has been after him forever. I'll make sure everyone knows what a pair of cheats they are. It ended with her smashing a framed photo. Us three at graduation. Smiles frozen. Aaron's face went ashen. Phone slipping from numb fingers. She recorded that, to use against us. Rage boiled in me, hot and helpless. It's revenge porn for the soul. We fight it, lawyers, blocks, whatever, but the damage spread like oil on water. By Saturday, Aaron's boss called. HR complaint from an anonymous source. Inappropriate conduct, flagged. My inbox brimmed with hate mail. Clients ghosting gigs. We barricaded at my place. Blinds drawn. Ordering pizza like besieged soldiers. This is what coming out costs, Aaron said hollowly. Pizza box open between us. Cheese congealing. Not just family. Everything. I pulled him close. Fierce. Worth it. You're worth it. He clung. The kiss that followed a vow amid the ruins. Climax brewed that night. Thunder rumbling distant. Echo of Yellowstone. As Aaron's dad showed unannounced. Pounding the door like Judgment Day. Open up, son. We need to talk. Aaron cracked it. Chain latched. His father's florid face peering through. Ruddy cheeks. Eyes narrowed in pious fury. This. Abomination. Your mother's praying nonstop. Come home, boy. We can fix this with God. Counseling. Aaron's voice cracked like ice. Dad, it's not broken. It's me, finally whole. The elder Caldwell recoiled, sputtering scripture, then slammed a fist against the frame. You're throwing away your soul. For him. Me. Hovering in the hall. Invisible target. Aaron stepped forward, chain rattling free, facing the storm. Yes. For him. And for me, the man I've hidden too long. His dad searched his face. Something fracturing, grief, recognition. Before turning away, shoulders slumped. Don't call till you repent. The door clicked shut, final as a coffin nail. Aaron slid down it, knees to chest, tears silent. I joined him on the floor, holding through the quake. You did it, I whispered. Stood your ground. He looked up, shattered but stealing. We did. The fallout settled like fallout ash, blanketing our days in a gritty haze that no amount of coffee or country drives could scour away. Aaron moved unofficially that week. Duffel unzipped in my closet, his work boots by the door, a razor sharing space on the bathroom sink like quiet insurrection. We navigated the minefield hand in hand, blocking numbers, drafting cease and desists with a pro bono lawyer from the local LGBTQ center, a wiry ex-Marine named Jax who cracked dad jokes over manila folders, and ignoring the neighborhood stares that followed us to the corner Kroger for six-packs and microwave burritos. Akron wasn't San Francisco. It was Steel Town stubborn, where love is love bumper stickers were as rare as vegan options at the Polish deli. Aaron threw himself into the grind, clocking overtime at the plant welding chassis frames, coming home smelling of metal shavings and motor oil, collapsing onto the couch with a beer and a sigh that spoke volumes. Boss pulled me aside today, he said one evening, feet in my lap as I sketched freelance logos on my tablet. A bucking bronco for some Wyoming dude ranch. Irony not lost. Said the rumors are unfortunate, but as long as I don't flaunt it, I'm good. His mimicry was pitch-perfect corporate bland, but the hurt lingered in his slouch. I set the tablet aside, massaging his calves, knots from 12-hour shifts. Flaunt what? Existing, he chuckled. Dark. Yeah. Like we're some sideshow. But hey, job's safe. For now. My world tilted too. Gigs dried up overnight, clients citing creative differences in emails that reeked of cowardice. I pivoted to online commissions, fan art for indie comics. The kind with queer antiheroes slugging it out in neon-lit dystopias. Nights blurring into dawn with the glow of my screen. Aaron would watch sometimes, chin on my shoulder, murmuring approvals. That guy's got your jaw. Badass. It was those moments, domestic, unforced, that stitched us back together. Sunday mornings scrambling eggs in boxers. His burnt toast apologies kissed away. Lazy afternoons at the reservoir. Skipping stones and stealing kisses behind the boathouse. Hearts racing at every rustle in the underbrush. But betrayal's shadow lengthened. Sarah escalated, her gifts morphing into public shrapnel. A blistering Facebook post tagging half the county. Betrayed by my fiancé and his bestie. True colors. Akron. Heartbroken, pray for them. Racking likes from pity party vultures. It went viral local. The Beacon Journal picking it up in a community drama blurb that danced around the gay angle but implied plenty. Aaron's sister, ever the diplomat, texted a white flag olive branch. Mom's a wreck, but dad's cooling. Family meeting, no preaching. We went fortified with takeout lasagna and resolve. The Caldwell kitchen table a neutral zone under the hum of fluorescent lights. His mom hovered, dish rag twisting in arthritic hands. Ice puffy from novenas. Aaron, honey, we just want you happy. Dad grunted from his lazy boy. Remote clutched like a shield. But his gaze softened when Aaron laid it bare. This is happy, folks. Connor's not the other man. He's the one. Awkward silence. Broken by Mom's tentative. Well, he is polite. And those sketches, talented. It wasn't acceptance. Not yet. Just a crack in the door. Enough for tentative truces. As we left, Dad clapped Aaron's shoulder. Gruff, don't be a stranger. Progress. Fragile as eggshell. Emboldened, we ventured out. First date proper at a dive in Cuyahoga Falls. The Rusty Nail, with its jukebox full of Johnny Cash and walls scarred by decades of brawls. We slid into a corner booth, knees knocking under scarred oak, ordering wings and whiskey like it was armor. To surviving, Aaron toasted, glass clinking mine, his free hand finding my thigh, a bold claim in the room's haze of trucker stares. Conversation flowed easy, dreams deferred, his for community college coaching, mine for a gallery show in Chicago. Fears voiced, his of fading into his old man's blueprint, mine of love's impermanence. Midway, a barfly at the counter muttered loud, "Ain't that the queer couple from the paper?" But Aaron's glare could curdle milk, and the guy slunk off. We laughed it off over onion rings, but the edge lingered, a reminder of the world's teeth. Deeper waters churned privately. One night, post-shift, Aaron came home hollow-eyed, stripping gear in the mudroom with mechanical precision. Had a run-in, he admitted over reheated stir-fry, fork pushing peas like suspects. Coworker, big lug named Mike, from the union drives. Cornered me in the break room, heard you're batting for the other team. That true, my gut twisted. What did you say? He met my eyes. Steady. Told him it's none of his business. But yeah. And if he had a problem, HR's door swings both ways. Pride swelled, chased by fear. Brave, he shrugged, but his hand trembled on the bottle. Terrified. What if it costs the job? The benefits? We're barely scraping by. Money was the unspoken specter, gnawing at our idol. My commissions trickled. His overtime barely covered the mortgage and his truck payments. We budgeted ruthless, ditching date nights for homebrew picnics in the backyard, where fireflies danced and we slow danced to battery radio tunes, his chin on my crown. We'll make it, he'd whisper, like incantation. But doubt crept in, manifesting in nightmares, him packing the duffel again, driving off into Rust Belt fog. Climax brewed not in thunder, but in quiet fracture. 2 weeks post-Yellowstone, Aaron's phone rang at 2 a.m., unknown, insistent. He answered groggy, me stirring beside him in the tangle of sheets. Caldwell? Yeah. This is him. Pause. Then his body tensed like wire. Now? Shit, okay. I'm coming. He hung up, scrambling for jeans. Plant emergency. Line down. Whole shift scrambling. I bolted up. Alarm bells clanging. Middle of the night? Let M call someone else. But he was lacing boots. Face set. Union rules, I'm on call. Go back to sleep. Babe. He kissed me hurried. Tasting of toothpaste and unease. Door clicking soft behind him. Sleep fled. I paced the kitchen, brewing chamomile that went cold, mind-spinning worst cases, accident on the catwalk, or worse, ambush by Mike's crew, payback in the shadows. By 4 a.m., texts unanswered, I drove to the plant, the industrial sprawl a hulking silhouette against sodium skies, smokestacks belching like accusations. Security waved me through, small-town perks, and I parked by the chain link, scanning the floodlit yard. No Aaron. But Mike, bull-necked, tattooed forearms glistening under vests, sauntered from the side door, wiping hands on a rag, smirking at his phone. I approached cautious, heart hammering. Mike, you seen Aaron? He looked up, grin wolfish. Caldwell? Yeah. He was here. Clocked in, then bailed early, said something about personal shit. Looked rough. Man. Real conflicted. The implication slithered. Betrayal. Fresh and foul. I sped home, dread coiling, finding the house dark, his keys gone from the hook. He returned at dawn, slipping in like a ghost, face haggard under the stubble. Con, you're up. I whirled from the sink, dish towel twisted. Where the hell were you? Plant said you left hours ago. Guilt flashed, then defiance. Drove. Cleared my head. Needed space after. Everything. Lies hung heavy. I smelled it. Cologne faint but foreign. The kind Sarah wore. Space? Or her? Saw Mike grinning like a cat. Spill it. Aaron. He deflated, sinking to the linoleum. Okay. She called. Sarah. Begging to talk. Foreclosure. Met her at the Waffle House off 77. Harmless. Harmless. The word ignited me. Closure? After the posts. The threats? And you go running? He stood, pleading. I had to end it proper. Tell her face to face it's done. But she kissed me. Said we'd been good together, that this phase would pass. Rage and hurt collided, my voice shattering. Phase? Is that what I am? While you play hero to your ex. He reached, desperate. No, God, no. It was nothing, a mistake. But the seed of doubt rooted, deep and thorny, was Yellowstone a fluke? Our love a rebound's fever? We fought then, words flaying like switchblades. My accusations of cowardice, his defenses crumbling into sobs. I love you, Con, but it's hard. Every day, choosing this when the world's screaming no. I shoved him back, chest heaving. Then don't. Go back to easy. To her, he reeled, eyes wide with the stunned echo of our title, a mirror to that tent night revelation, now inverted. Door slammed, tires squealed. Alone, I slid down the cabinets, the house echoing vast and vacant, betrayal's bitter taste flooding my mouth. Hours blurred into numb haze, calls ignored, sketches shredded, bourbon burning straight. Dusk brought a knock, Jax, the lawyer, with news. Sarah's suing for emotional distress, claiming alienation, her daddy's influence greasing legal wheels. Fight it, he urged over weak tea. But fight what? The man who'd promised forever, now ghosting in crisis? Night fell, phone silent, until a text pinged at Mom's. Need time. Forgive me? No. Not yet. The humanistic ache settled. Love's not conquest, but endurance through storms. Yes, but also the calms that test resolve. The silence stretched into days. Avoid Aaron's absence carved deeper with each unanswered voicemail. each blank stare from my sketchpad. Akron autumn deepened, leaves carpeting sidewalks in sodden crimson, mirroring the bruise on my heart. Tender, throbbing, impossible to ignore. I threw myself into survival mode, court dates with Jax, where Sarah's lawyer droned legalese in a fluorescent-lit chamber, her perched across the aisle like a vengeful swan, eyes averted but smug, freelance hustles that paid in pennies but purpose, digital portraits of queer icons sold on Etsy to faceless allies. Nights, though, were the battlefield, the bed too vast, his pillow retaining cedar ghost, dreams replaying the Waffle House betrayal in lurid loop, her lips on his, my name a footnote. Friends rallied, patchwork brigade, my ex from art school, Lena, dragging me to poetry slams at the Highland Square Coffee House, where verses of fractured hearts drowned my own in communal roar. Aaron's sister, Becca, slipping notes under the door. He's a mess, Con. Give him hell, but come back to him. Humanistic threads wove through the unravel. A barista at the daily grind confiding her own coming-out scars over free refills. Jax sharing war stories from his Marine days. Love's the real enemy. Kid, makes you fight dirty. It wasn't healing, but scaffolding enough to stand. A week in, Aaron surfaced, not at the door, but the plant gates, waiting post-shift in his truck. Headlights cutting fog like hesitant beacons. I biked home from a gig, spotting the F-150 idling, heart lurching. He emerged slow, hands jammed in hoodie pockets, breath clouding November chill. Con. Can we? Words failed. I nodded, wheeling the bike into the garage, leading him inside to the kitchen's harsh fluorescence. Coffee brewed automatic, black and scalding, as we sat at the formica scarred from 100 brunches. He looked wrecked, hollow cheeks, I shadowed, flannel hanging loose on a frame whittled by worry. I fucked up. Royally, no preamble, just raw confession, voice gravel from disuse. That night Sarah's kiss, pulled away. Told her it's you or nothing. But I didn't tell you because shame. Thought it'd make me weak, like I hadn't chosen hard enough. I sipped, scalding my tongue to match the burn inside. Weak or human, you ran, Aaron. Left me holding the bag while she soothes us into oblivion. He nodded, unflinching. Deserved. I've been gutting it out at Mom's, therapy sessions with a priest who doesn't flinch, long talks with Dad over garage beers. Realized, love isn't absence of fear. It's dragging your ass back anyway. Tears pricked. Unbidden, I swiped them fierce. And the lawsuit? Your job teetering? My gig's tanking because of the whispers. He reached across, tentative, fingers brushing mine, electric, familiar. We'll fight. Together. Called a buddy from the union, queer vet, knows lawyers who eat cases like this for breakfast. As for work, I came out. Full. In the break room, mic and all. Told him, yeah, I'm gay. Love a man who's braver than me. Deal with it. His grin ghosted, proud and pained. Mike apologized. Said he'd been an ass. Raised better. The dam cracked then. I laughed, watery, pulling him around the table into an embrace that smelled of home, oil and pine. Idiot, I murmured into his neck. My idiot. He held tight, shuddering. Yours. Always. We kissed there, over cooling mugs, slow, reaffirming, tasting of salt and second chances. No frenzy, just the quiet romance of reconciliation. Hands rediscovering curves, breaths sinking like old habit. Resolution unfolded gradual, humanistic in its imperfection. The lawsuit crumbled mid-December. Sarah's claims exposed as spite. Her daddy's pull no match for evidence of mutual toxicity. Texts unearthed showing her long suspicions. Manipulations. We settled out of court. A quiet payout for defamation. Enough to cover Jax's fee and a down payment on hope. Aaron's job held. The plant's old guard grumbled but adapted. Mike even inviting us to a Steelers watch party. Awkward beers exchanged like olive branches. My art bloomed anew. A series inspired by Yellowstone. Tent confessions, charcoal and acrylics of storms and silhouettes. Snagged a spot at the Akron Art Museum's Emerging Voices exhibit. Opening night, a whirlwind of clinking glasses and curious glances. Aaron at my side in a button-down that strained his shoulders. Whispering proud like mantra. Family mended in fits. Christmas at the Caldwells. Tension thick as fruitcake but thawing over eggnog. Mom's tentative hug lingering. Dad's gruff, nice work on those drawings. Son aimed at us both. Becca officiated a recommitment dinner at her place. Lasagna and laughter. Toasts to the unbreakable duo. Round 2. We weren't saints. Arguments flared. Over money. His late shifts. My late nights, but they ended in talks. Not doors slammed. Growth in the grit. Spring greened the Cuyahoga Valley. Our 1-year Yellowstone mark approaching. We planned a return. Not the full trek, but a quiet site by the Lamar. Tent pitched under apologetic skies. The drive west was lighter. Podcasts on Queer Lit. Springsteen on shuffle. Hands linked over the console. At the Overlook, we unpacked the cooler IPAs. Elk jerky. That same 5th of Jack. Fire crackling as stars emerged. Aaron pulled a small box from his pack. Not ring, but 2 silver bands. Etched with compass roses. Not marriage, not yet. Not here. But promise, whatever storms, we navigate. Tears stung. I slid mine on, kissing the vow into permanence. We made love in the tent that night. No thunder needed, bodies fluent now. Touches a language of survival and surrender. Afterward, zipped in sleeping bags, his head on my chest, he murmured, "Stunned yet?" I chuckled, fingers in his hair. Every day, the humanistic close. No tidy bows, just 2 men, flawed and fierce, choosing each other in a world that rarely chooses back. Love, American as apple pie and backroad anthems, dramatic, emotional, romantic to the bone, leaving us not stunned, but steadfast. Epilogue whispers, 2 years on. We're in a creaky Victorian in Cleveland's Tremont. My studio in the turret, his coaching whistle by the door. The scars fade, but the story, etched eternal, a testament to the wild heart that beats beneath the stars.